Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan, and here basically we are discussing the debate basically that is ongoing. And this debate basically actually the big software company people basically must do. I am just basically uploading these videos. Basically. The thing is basically one person basically joined the Harvard University or basically assume Oxford University. Just see basically how the things basically system is basically working. He basically started his journey in college. Assume that basically he is a IT professional. He started his career. Basically. He basically that time basically uh, he was for a few time basically he was not taking interest. Basically. Then suddenly basically he got the interest. Suddenly he got the interest and he started studying basically. Then basically as basically he was studying he basically got this many percentage 90 percentage. So according to 90 percentage basically his blood cells basically got generated. His blood cells got generated. His blood cells basically got generated. And as the basically he got the 90 percentage, he basically comes in front of the companies basically. Company told that basically we are basically are hiring like this Microsoft company, Oracle company, HP company, Compaq company, Accenture, Capgemini, Patani, these all IBM company. They told that basically we will hire this person basically. So they basically started offering. The person basically accepted one offer basically, and basically he cleared the entire. Sorry, he cleared the course basically from the Harvard, and then basically he started his career. Just see basically the chain basically what is. He started his career. He basically literally what actually the software industry is that basically just see. He started his career. Then basically he started doing job in one of the software company, and he basically got one software basically to create. That was the banking software. From banking software basically he connected with the World Banks up to that level basically he reached by doing the analysis, by asking the question basically like this basically he reached to the World Bank basically. World Bank president, World Bank basically secretary, World Bank directors basically connected to him. Then basically the company basically of the company also basically was shocked basically the particular normal person basically the normal basically one software project person basically connected with the World Bank basically. Then he basically the Harvard group basically told that basically our energy basically are up to that level basically because we are basically connecting each and every people to that 300 city basically, and in that 300 city basically each and every sectors basically up to certain level basically ideas are given. Up to certain level ideas basically are given in that city basically. He was basically literally shocked, yeah, what actually he's telling, what the Harvard groups are basically telling. He was not able to understand. He told that basically, for example, in World Bank basically what are the things basically. They told that basically set of products basically are there. Products gets creates. Then one person told that bank basically is one product for World Bank. Then he basically literally thought for a few minutes basically, and he told that basically yeah basically bank is also one of the product for World Bank. So basically that person told that basically that person basically was doing the project of that bank basically, and he was basically doing one creating one product basically. He like this basically connected to banks. Then basically like this basically he reached into the World Bank basically. Then he told that basically from one product basically he reached to the banks, to banks, to banks, to banks, and then basically he reached to the World Bank basically. Then he basically given one answer basically. The answer was basically the World Bank basically has created each and every bank as a product basically, as a product. Anybody can purchase that product. Anybody basically can inquire about that product basically. So banks basically, World Bank basically say that we are basically representing the product basically in front of the public, and the product name is bank. This is the bank name basically. This is the bank basically, and this is one product basically, and we have created this product basically. And this product basically duty is what, to create commercial building basically. And that commercial building basically, given one example basically, that is basically one infotech park basically. Just taken as an example basically, that is one infotech park, one infotech park. So one person basically told that basically we got this product. One software company basically told that basically from where actually I should, where actually I should purchase my software company basically, because I basically got this product, this project basically. He basically given to one experts basically of the banks only basically. He read each and every description, and basically he told that basically do one thing, go to this particular infotech park basically, and there basically you can hire or take one rent building, or basically you purchase the entire building, or basically purchase few floors of it if the project is so big basically. Because he told that basically we basically know that each and every banks basically are creating the product basically, creating the product basically. So this basically, person told that basically banks is one product, and bank basically knows each and everything basically, because they are basically product basically, and they know each and everything basically. So according to that basically they know that basically this project which is going to generate this all energies basically. So from that basically one person told that basically is all the projects basically in this world basically are mapped with some set of banks basically, set of banks. Then he told that basically previously in previous lecture basically you have told that basically each and every products basically are, sorry, each and every projects basically of the software companies are mapped with the servers, with the servers basically you told basically last time basically it's connected with the servers, and server basically are servers are basically purchased by the software companies, and a set of basically business development officers basically are mapped to that particular server basically. And the business development officer according to the mapping basically which is done in the server, according to that the matrix basically perfect matrix when it gets matched, according to that basically you gets the project. You told like this basically. Then basically that person told that each and every server company basically are connected with set of infrastructure basically, infrastructure. So one person told that basically Microsoft basically equal to 10,000 city. For Microsoft creation basically they have created 10,000 city. Like same way IBM basically is connected with 9,000 city, 8,000 city. Like each and every servers basically they are connected with the infrastructure basically. So by default, if it's the infrastructure basically, then the World Bank told that basically that infrastructure basically exists in one of the city basically, and the in World Bank basically told that city basically is one of the product for World Bank. City is also one of the product for World Bank basically. Like this basically they have given the answer. Basically. So just see the chain basically how it is going basically. Just see the basically the chain also how it's going. So World Bank basically was telling that we have basically created many products basically. From this product basically the World Bank is sorry the uh, banks are one product. The city creation are basically one product. So if it's a city creation basically government only creates the city that basically everybody knows. And government basically hire a few businessmen basically. That is by default. And businessmen are directly basically connected with without money basically do you think basically anybody is going to give any materials? Few people donates the thing basically. Like this also basically thing happens. But that basically very rare. So World Bank basically is also basically treating this banks as a product, city as a product. So like this, the chains are basically connected. So this is also basically one of the system basically you can say. That is basically the banking system, the World Bank system. Basically. So that particular software company person basically who basically done the studied in the Harvard University. He basically from one project basically of the banking product. He was creating one banking product. He basically connected with the World Bank's top directors basically because the World Bank basically to the one of the basically medical industry basically uh, of the World Bank basically who the people basically of the sorry the World Bank basically have each and every basically sorry the World Bank basically have they basically have the employees basically the employees basically can be doctors also so they have the doctors also basically as an employee and they basically judge each and every employees who basically connects with the World Bank and who basically does the job to the World Bank. And they literally creates the history. Sorry, they not creates the history. They basically diagnose the history of the person basically how basically he reached here. Basically. So that person basically was doing the job in the software normal software company. Normal means it was basically CM level 5 company. He was doing the job in the software company. He was basically he basically done the study from the Harvard University. The Harvard group told that basically we have created each and every system basically. We have created each and every sectors basically mapping in that 300 city basically. Each and every sector basically created. So here the banking sector was there. And banking sector basically we have created lots of buildings basically from there basically we basically have sent lots of ideas to them that particular person basically when he was basically doing the analysis of that particular banking product basically. Like this basically he connected to banks to banks banks to banks banks to banks like this basically we have mapped the things basically that's why basically he was able to think up to that level and we basically was tracking that particular person also basically when he basically started the project basically so each and every Harvard group basically told that whenever basically any of the Harvard University people basically do the work starts the work they basically directly connects why because any person basically can connect up to the end level basically so here the end level was bank that was basically World Bank. So that particular one person basically connected with the Harvard University person basically. He was basically into software company. He basically created one product basically of the bank. He basically got the product. He basically got the task of creating one banking product. From that banking product, he basically connected to banks to banks, and then basically reached to the World Bank. So Harvard groups basically told that basically we have created this type of system. According to that, basically we are taking the money also basically. To do basically study in Harvard University, you require more than 1 crore basically. Minimum basically amount is 1 crore. If you are doing basically some good education level basically, then basically minimum you require 1 crore rupees. You have to show basically the bank balance to 1 crore. Then only basically they give admission in Harvard University in that in their country basically, where basically the Harvard University is basically. So just a minute, I will just check basically where the Harvard University is. So basically, the Harvard University basically, I basically just know, got the information that basically Harvard from internet. Basically, I searched that the Harvard University is in USA basically. So USA basically group says that basically to do the study basically in our university basically, that is the Harvard University, minimum bank balance is basically 1 crore. Then only basically you can able to study in the Harvard University basically. So to that level, so basically that lady or basically the boy, the person basically told that who was basically tracking each and every students of the Harvard University. They told that basically minimum is basically 1 crore basically. Because if you are coming to USA, what is the ticket of USA basically? It's more than one. Just let me check the ticket also basically of the USA. So it's basically more than uh, you can say the total fare and everything basically connects to 1 lakh rupees. Basically, it's one trip basically. It's basically 40, 50,000 basically. So basically, if the money basically fare basically up to this level basically, then basically you can just imagine basically the visa ticket, everything basically when it connects basically, then basically the cost basically is more than 5 lakh basically, 5 lakh rupees basically you can say. Then basically you have to show the bank balance. You have to stay there in the Harvard University hostel is there, or basically if you are doing some private hostel basically, then there basically charges are there. So per month basically the minimum basically you can say expense there basically it would be more than basically 5 lakh rupees if you are having some good education level with the perfect facilities. If you want to purchase any book, then basically you have to purchase the book. If you want to go to that particular place for some knowledge, basically, Harvard group says that basically make you certain cell level of education also basically. Then basically there basically if they want to do. That also basically is possible. So like this basically expense basically comes to 5 lakh rupees per month. If he is doing some normal course also, then basically it's more than 1 crore expense. That's why basically 1 crore expense, 1 crore basically bank balance should be there. So normal person basically can't do the study in Harvard University, right? So here basically we were talking about. Here basically we were talking that the Harvard University, each and every students basically are getting tracked by the Harvard groups basically. Like this basically they know that basically if they basically mostly tracks each and every people basically. Few people says that basically 90 percentage, 95 percentage people only basically are tracked. Then the one of the professor basically told that basically you can't say anything basically. Any person basically can reach up to any level basically. That's why basically we track each and every people who basically do the certification passing level also basically that is basically 50 percentage, 55 percentage, 60 percentage. That type of basically groups also basically we tracks because it might possible that he can reach up to certain level. So basically like this basically they tracks the people basically. So they basically say that basically Harvard University is always with you in any situation basically, because they have taken the money also basically. But every time basically money is not everything, right? Support is also basically the main thing. So like this basically they tracked that person basically was doing the project of the banking projects, and the ideas was basically connected with the Harvard University, that's 300 cities. And like this basically they basically was keeps giving energy, giving energy. At last basically connected with the World Bank basically. So he was basically literally basically uh, the person basically who was basically into the energy side. He basically told that yeah basically these all are basically the normal thing. But few people says that basically how basically this was achieved. When the Harvard group basically given this example, basically we have 300 cities basically, and we are from here basically we are giving the ideas basically to that particular person basically who are basically then basically he told like this each and everything. So like this basically the person basically connected with the World Bank basically, and few group basically then basically connected with World Bank. He started doing the he basically got the offer from World Bank, and then basically he literally basically started his career in World Bank. So like this basically he started his career in World Bank, and World Bank basically means it's basically top bank basically you can say. It is the one of the toughest bank basically. So if one Harvard University person basically is doing the job in World Bank basically, that's basically achievement of Harvard University only. Then basically from World Bank basically they were able to because he was basically using his brain in the World Bank products also. From there basically syllabus basically up to the level basically they have created the physical creation that basically required to be changed according to that person basically was thinking. So just see basically the things basically are connecting. So they basically started tracking that particular person, got his energy, and from his energy basically they started creating some few buildings basically, because that idea basically was something totally new basically, because he connected with World Bank from normal software company. Then World Bank basically he created some product basically which was basically totally new into the banking industry only. From there basically they created few buildings from this energy. So just see basically how the creation basically also happened. Like this basically there are 1,75,000 cities already created by certain groups basically. Like this only the things are getting created. The things are basically getting created, and with like this basically 1,75,000 cities is already created. Now basically you can't do anything with it. If you say that basically we will finish the 1 lakh 75 city, then basically entire education system basically will become zero. Entire Harvard group basically says that our ideas are already finished. Oxford group says that our ideas are also finished. So like these things are also basically there. So each and everything is the example is basically I given just now basically. That particular person went to the software company, he then connected with the one banking projects, then basically connected with the World Bank. He joined the World Bank. From World Bank basically he created a few products basically, and that product basically was totally new for the World Bank basically. His ideas was basically totally new. Then basically after that basically few buildings basically got created from his ideas basically. Because he reached to that level. Like this basically the Harvard groups basically told that basically we have created, that's why we created few buildings basically from his ideas basically, from his energies basically. So that's why basically we tracks each and every employees, sorry, each and every Harvard University students basically, and sometimes they tracks their employees. Sometimes basically they tracks their employees also. That are basically the professor groups basically. Their brain also basically sometimes reach to the certain level. They also basically sells the products to the banks. They also basically do lots of things with it. So that is also basically there. So like this basically the one building, few buildings basically, assume that 3 to 4 buildings basically got created. Then one person told that building creation is not the solution, right? Then he told that basically buildings are created, and all the works basically which are going to be inside the building basically, that work basically are connected with this particular person's products basically. That are his person's products ideas. So each and every works there, from there basically the buildings basically the few energies are going to generate. Like this basically the chains of the particular products basically is going to generate. So just see basically up to what level the things are basically connected. So this is also basically one of the attraction basically, one of the attraction basically, which has generated, and which says that this person's next generation is supposed to go or not supposed to go. Whatever thing basically I had discussed just now basically, if we see the totally negative side basically, this was all basically our positive side. Negative side basically are totally opposite to this. The Harvard University were tracking that particular person, but they basically not helped that person. They were not sending in ideas. Like this, basically that person basically was not able to reach to that particular world event. So this was totally different, basically negative ideas. Sorry, negative energy basically. And negative energy also basically is getting tracked by the energy companies and the power companies, and which is basically also generating the energy in the universe, that you had not helped that particular person when he was basically doing the hard work, when he was doing searching the job basically, that time basically you not help. This type all basically energy basically gets generates, happens nothing basically, but it generates the energy na? And that energy basically connects to the directly to the universe basically. That if the energy is connected to universe, then basically directly the university basically is going to affect. But university basically, if it's a very intelligent university basically, then basically they will reach up to that particular person basically. Due to that basically the problem basically has occurred, and then basically they will say that basically we were basically when he was in this particular location, when he was basically searching the job basically. That time basically we were our people basically was supposed to help him. For that basically few universities say that basically we uh, do some mapping basically inside the body, and wherever particular person is basically located, whatever the activity is doing basically, that basically dumps into our computer basically. That dumps to our computer. Up to that level dangerous universities are also there basically. Then one person told that basically is Harvard is doing this type of thing, because if anybody person is basically tracking, if any university basically is tracking any of the person basically, then by default basically they should see something, right? Without seeing basically how they basically will say that basically this person has reached up to this level, this person has reached up to this level. Then that basically person with the person basically who is there told this, he told that basically, yeah, the person basically who actually listened this, he told that yeah basically it's a logical thing basically. Somewhere basically the each and every people basically ideas are basically getting stored. Whatever basically they are thinking that are basically stored in any of the computer. So they from that computer basically they easily be able to track that person basically up to what level that person has reached. So like this basically the university are also there. But mostly basically some information if you are not able to, how basically you will track that basically this person has reached up to this level basically. One way is basically the cameras, right? That particular person basically is doing the job in the laptop or in the computer. The Harvard University is tracking. So there are basically more than basically 1 crore basically Harvard groups basically who are basically across the world. So for 1 crore people, students basically they are basically already started their journey. So we can track up to that level basically. 1 crore for 1 crore people basically 1 crore people we can't hire. We can't basically hire basically. It's not possible practically. So for that basically they created this system basically. And mostly this type of system basically is 100% there basically. If Harvard University has not created, then the university union basically is there. University union means basically for example, one person told that basically Asian University. So Asian is basically one union, right? It comes to one union charitable group basically. You can say. In Asia, basically, this type of universities are there basically. So that basically is Asia Union, United States of America University. So United States of American University. So the entire university might be getting tracked by the government groups basically, because university comes into the cities and city basically by default are controlled by the governments. That is also there basically. But mostly basically university only tracks. But if certain university is not getting tracked, they don't have too much of money, then basically by default government tracks. That is basically 100%. But in India, basically there is no facility like that, because it's in India basically it's a digital country basically. It's not digital too much basically, and nobody basically care of the any of the basically the any of the students also basically. Example is Sunil Nair basically visited this many time and basically nobody helped. So like these things are basically few things. Basic few university says that we will basically take care of the particular person, each and every people basically. The USA university says that basically we take care of each and every basically people basically, each and every citizens basically. Each and every citizens are basically taken care basically. And the example is basically the Harvard University, but they are basically paying more money basically. So according to that basically the Harvard University is basically taking care of that particular each and every students basically. Then basically they converts to the employee basically of certain companies basically. And then basically the company also basically connects to the Harvard University. So you can just imagine basically the things level basically connects. So mostly basically government, Indian government also basically might be tracking the university thing basically. They might not be having up to the digital level basically, but they basically might be tracking by the physical things basically. For example, one person basically is doing job in this company and he has done study from this particular college. So companies are basically connected with the universities, right? So they keeps giving the information also basically. Like this also things are there basically. Nowadays each and everything are computerized. So government also keeps the record basically. But mostly Indian government says that we basically have given our stuff to the another countries basically. That country is basically handling each and everything basically. That country basically you can check to that country basically if you want any information of particular employee, particular students basically or particular university, then basically you can easily able to get the information because we never basically ignores any of the thing basically, any of the thing basically. So like this USA that basically we keeps the information of the each and every citizen. The information is they basically physically basically they mostly basically many less people might be tracking it, but virtually basically that is basically in the computer the each and every citizen information, especially the Harvard University, Oxford universities, ideas are basically dumped into the computers because up to that level basically the USA has reached. Up to that level basically the United States of America has reached. This is also one of the part of the attraction basically. And mostly basically this type of thing basically you will never able to get in any of the colleges also. The thing basically just now basically I have discussed. Then one person told that basically this type of courses are available in the market. Then basically he told that basically practical experience basically are the courses basically you can say. As you get the practical experience, that all are basically courses basically. One person told that basically text box equal to thousand cities. This all basically process happens and the entire process basically is the one entire process of the process that basically where basically we can able to learn that which is that company basically that basically was interesting question basically asked by one of the person that also basically we are going to discuss in one of the videos basically. So here the topic is attraction which basically is of the particular person or of attraction of the particular areas. And here the thing is the point is the persons basically one person basically next generation is supposed to go next or not supposed to go next. That is the topic basically which we are discussing.